Here we go. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this week's AMA Ask Me Anything. For those of you who've never been on this session before, what happens on this session is that we answer any questions. And when I say we, the entire Talkadot community, answer any questions that you have. So if you don't know how to do something and you want to know how to do it, or you're frustrated by something, or you're like, oh, I'm curious about this is the place to come to get real life feedback. Or you just gave a speaking engagement and you're not sure what to do next, or you have a speaking related issue. This is a kind of catch-all hour for you, that because you are part of our community, you have access to this. And what's great is not only do you have access to my knowledge of 18 years of speaking and building 7-figure and 6-figure businesses in different niches, we have way smarter people than me in our community. So this is all for you. In a moment, we're going to go through the questions. And this, again, is all about your questions. So if you have questions about marketing, about sales, about the functionality of the tool, all questions are inbounds. If I can't answer it, I'll be honest. If I can, of course, I'll do my best to do so. All you have to do to ask a question is use the raise your hand feature. So all you've got to do is hit the react button and then raise your hand, and it'll pop this little fella up right here. And then we'll put everyone into a queue and answer every question that we possibly can. Before we jump in, I want to read something to you that is the core. It's the lifeblood of everything that we do, which is our Talkadot manifesto. If you've heard this before, can't hear it enough. If you've never heard it before, allow me to introduce to you what we stand for. We are a community of professional speakers that view speaking as an honored craft that deeply impacts lives. This is a skill we constantly care about getting better at and perfecting. It's an infinite game that we can consistently get better at, so that's why we get feedback. We know we're never done getting better. We know there's always another level, and we endlessly pursue that next level. Where others dial it in, we go to the next level. We realize that we should do everything we can to ethically grow our business, because the more we speak, the more lives we impact. We believe doing well while doing good in the world go hand in hand. We have big visions, but we take big action too. We share our impact with the world, not because it's about showing how great we are, but about showing the greatness in the audiences we help create. We are constantly perfecting our craft and humble enough to know there's always more to learn. We have an abundance mindset and know there is so much opportunity in this industry and in this world, so we always lift as we climb. Because of that, we are different. Because of that, we are unicorns. We are Talkadot. So thank you all for being a part of that mission. There's lots of places that I've been in, and probably spaces that you've been in, that just kind of suck. People are all about themselves and self-serving, and this is not what this is built upon. This is built upon us getting everything we can to succeed. So with that said, we're going to jump into our first question. So Basi, take it away.
Okay, thanks. You could tell I was super eager. Let me lower my hand. So my question is actually a follow-up. You may or may not remember this, but you gave me some great advice a couple months ago when I said, okay, I'm going to speak at my chamber. And they asked to combine 2 speeches. So we had the purpose-driven leader, and then we had the networking part. So I did it. Yay, yay, yay. It went well. Also, thanks for cheering for me in the community. So I'm doing the follow. Actually, sorry. That was just the thank you. That's not the question. That's done. So yesterday I was like on a super high after that talk, feeling good. I went to the dentist, and I've been trying to pitch my dentist office because they're like a network. You're laughing at me. You're like, imagine me in the dentist chair. Like I always,
I hear you.
right. Like, I'm like, I could come talk to you all about joy. You bring me joy. You're good with my teeth. So my dental hygienist, Becky, she's awesome. She's like, yeah, let me connect you with our practice manager. So after, my teeth are all shining yesterday and I'm numb, I like talk to the practice manager. She thinks I have a complaint because I'm like, you all are so great. And she's like, what's going to come after this but? And I was like, oh, I wanted to sell you something. Like, there's nothing you've done bad. Don't be afraid. No complaint. I was like, I do these workshops for professional development. I thought I could bring some joy to your team by teaching them about joy, goals, purpose, yada, yada, yada. And she's like, that would be great. Give me your card. I don't know what to write her. Like, I literally got home and I was like, because she said like, oh, we could probably do this within a few weeks. And I immediately was like, does she think this is free like candy? Like I said, I'm trying to sell you something.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
Well,
know what to write in this email. And I'm so awkward and I feel so stupid
mhm.
because I was just so happy.
No, not uncommon, not uncommon, by the way. What I like to um it's not the best. It's not the best. Have you ever heard of a dog chasing a car? Have you ever seen a dog like in a
Yeah, they
yard?
look like me, so happy. Yeah, thanks.
Well, that's the thing. They're like rough, 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 chasing a car, and it's like, well, what happens when you actually catch the car when you're the dog? The dog is like, oh snap, the car stopped. What do I do now? Like, and that moment is a very, very common moment because it's like, wait, are there like, is she expecting me to do it for free? Is she expecting me to do it for this? So what I would do is this. I would take some of your speech descriptions. Now you can also go to your public profile and you've got some really nice outcomes on there. So if you want to just copy that description, if you'd like to say, hey, this is kind of what audience members are saying about my program. Um, Here's the program that I think would be really good, but we can discuss that to figure out what's the best one for you. So you give them like a overview. I'm super excited. We have the match stage. And then at this stage, you have a decision to make. Now, I am very conscious that this is a personal choice that I could never tell someone this is what you should do. At this stage, you either need to say, let's jump on the phone to talk about logistics such as date, budget, and availability. Okay. So you can either say that, or you can say, the investment in my program is this. Let me know how you'd like to proceed. Now, I will tell you what I prefer, but everyone is different. And I've been in the game long enough to know that like there is no one way to do it. There's many ways to do it. I prefer to have all budget conversations over the phone or via Zoom. I've never found sending my budget via email has led for me to someone being like, cool. So I typically say this is the program that we can do, and then I say let's find a time to meet to talk more details about logistics, goals, what's happening, budget, availability. So I would throw it in there as part of the conversation, and then the goal of that is to schedule the conversation, get her on the phone to have a full like what's happening in your practice, what's important to you. You find out what's important to them, like every other good sales call. If
Right.
you attended the sales training that we did, there's a very specific question pattern that I like to ask and how I bring up budget and how I recommend folks to as well. But obviously, you know, everyone has a little different way to do it. And then I would just have that sales call. So I would say, here's what we can do. Let's find a time to talk. And the main goal is to just get onto the phone call, have the conversation, find out what they're, and at that point, they'll either go, yeah, great. Or, oh my gosh, is that how much? Like, you know, it all depends on what their appetite is for like that. What I found over and over and over again is that the biggest predictor of someone being able to pay you for your services is if they've already paid someone else for their services in the past. So
Right.
trying to get like a dental practice who's never paid an outside trainer, consultant, speaker is really hard. It's really hard to be the first. So one of the things I might do in your sales conversation in your unique spot is ask them, have you ever done have you ever brought in a trainer like this before? Tell me about that process. What was that? And get a sense of, do they have historical evidence of, yeah, we invest in our people, we do professional development, we bring people in. If they're like, no, no, we've never done this before, you'll be the first one at that point, like I'm not saying it deals over, but
Right.
in my experience, it's very hard to get someone who's never paid for something to pay for something versus someone who's like,
Right.
yeah, I have a budget, I have an L&D budget, no problem.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Okay, and that I'm definitely more comfortable with that because I was like, I've never just sent someone my proposal without having a conversation first. Actually, that's a
Yeah.
lot. That happened to me
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, but they reached out to me, not me reaching out to them. Like they reached out.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So,
And what I would do too is when you send your email, one of the things that we're hearing over and over and over again from our event planners that we are talking to now, and for those of you who don't know, you don't mind me showing your profile. You got a very pretty one.
yeah.
Yeah, I probably should have asked you first between just blah, you know. But you got very like I like so this is Bossy's public profile. It's got, you know, some video of her doing some really good TV spots here, which is great. We got pictures of her. It's got data from her event. But what we're finding, not necessarily surprising, but what's been really cool is we've been talking to a lot of folks who book speakers, and just a little hint to all of you, many of the event organizers, when we've shown them this, they've told us that they plan on booking their next speakers based on Talkadot profiles, and we're going to be facilitating some of those conversations. So if you do not have your Talkadot public profile filled out yet, with like your tagline added, your photos, generating your summary, adding your about section, putting in your speech topics with videos, I highly consider you doing it, because it's going to get really exciting for Talkadot speakers real soon. But the biggest thing that they've said has blown them away is specifically the key outcomes. What can you expect when working with me? So we're probably going to do some stuff to make this a little bit more like, because it's so important to folks. But what I would say is, here are some of the outcomes that you can expect. Give them a little taste of it, and then maybe if you already know which program you think is best, you can say, hey, I think, the vision and goals, or the joy, because I know you mentioned joy, so maybe this one is best. But anyway, what you would want to do is maybe give a suggestion, and this already has a lot of that information. You could even share your profile with them to say, here's some, like, just give them your link, like you can, read more here, so they can do a little pre work that they're going to have to do. But that's it. It's really that simple. It's like, here's what I think we should do. Let's get on a phone call to discuss it more. Easy peasy.
Okay. Well, I will report back, and hopefully, so I will say, I think they're the latter. I don't think that they have a budget for this, because I do remember in my haze that she was like, oh, we've never had anything like this, but this would be really good. And the
So
reason
you have a potential thing. Now, is it like a practice that has a lot of locations?
they have like 12 locations in the Chicagoland area.
Well, the first thing I would do, so this is the pre stuff that I do that I think, and this is important for everyone to know, because I don't know if enough speakers do this or think like this in the beginning. The first thing I'm gonna do is find out, one, are they part of like a bigger network, right? Like, are they part of, or do they have representation in every state? Because if they have representation in more than just those 12 locations, there's probably a good chance that they do a conference of some sort for their folks. There's also a good chance that they're a member of a group like the Seattle Study Club. They're a association that brings dentists together to help them better their practices. And I've been booked and paid very nicely to go to Seattle study clubs to speak to dental practices. So you want to do a little research to find out, are they part of a big corporation? Are they part of associations or memberships? Because you could do a um, talk for them for like uh, pro bono or low bono, as the phrase goes, as a breadcrumb to get into that larger market. So if that opportunity is there, sometimes it's cool to invest into those folks to open that up. So that's a decision that you have to decide now. If I were in your shoes, uh, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. When I need to take shots, I take shots. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And that speaks to another play I'm making. Apparently, I go to all my doctor's offices and pitch them. Because my
You know
OBGYN,
what? Shout out to you. I don't know if anyone has ever been like, hey man, thank you so much for the inoculation. You know what y'all need? Professional development. I got you.
it's true. It started with my eye doctor. She saw what I was doing, and she was like, we have multiple locations and I run the training programs for the managers. So that's where the idea came from. And then I was like, but you're right. Some of them are apart. Okay, thank you.
All
Thanks
right, you're
everyone for
welcome.
letting
Thanks
me
so much.
monopolize.
Appreciate you being here. Teresa, what's going on?
Hello, hello. So I heard you say that you have a specific way you do sales calls,
Yes.
and I would love to learn about it. And I have another question too, but can you share that?
Yes, I can. I am gonna find, let me find.
Maybe you have a pre-recorded webinar
Yeah,
on.
we did it's not like something I can say like in 5 seconds. I can grab the,
Yeah, that's fine if you have that, because frankly, you have a lot of stuff on the website, and I have not been able to really figure out how to utilize it all to my advantage.
No problem. Let me get one more video for you. 1 second. Here we go. There it is. Boop. So this is the video training that we did. I'll give you kind of a snapshot of it. It's to me the best. Like I feel so confident being on sales calls because of this process. So basically the way it works, I'll share an image from the document here, which I think will be helpful. Boom. Okay. So these are the steps in the document. It's got all of, like, it literally is a full training. And by the way, just so people value this appropriately, I used to do a coaching program for $6,000, and this was a part of it. And then I did a one-on-one $15,000, and this was one of the main foundations of it. So I did group coaching for $6,000 a year, and then I did individual coaching at $15,000, and this was part of what we taught. So I just always want to share that I'm giving y'all game because y'all talk it out, but please don't be like, oh, that's cool. That's a little one pager. Let me just grab that and download it. Like, this is single-handedly been worth hundreds of thousands of direct dollars for me, and worth overall millions of dollars for my business. When I say thousand, like when I was doing it, now I have like people who do most of my sales calls for me, but it's based upon this system and it's been very, very successful. So here's how it works. It's these different stops. Let me actually go to the final image. It'll be better. That's kind of the introductory image. Let me go. Oh, no, hold on. Let me.
Wait, is this on the website or
I
is
just put
this?
it into the chat there for you. It's on
Okay.
it's in our community. So if anyone goes to our Talkadot community, let me just pull up. So in the community, go back here. On the left-hand side, there's something called Pro Courses. So for all Talkadot Pro members, all you got to do is click on Pro Courses. And then I have an admin, so you're seeing the admin, but it'll look like this for you. So you click on Pro Courses, and we have all these awesome trainings here that are available to all of our Talkadot Pro and Elite members.
Yep,
And
I'm one of them.
yeah, so you have access to it. So if you click on Super Sales Highway, the sales script, that's what I'm referencing right now. And these are the resources that I wanted that I just pointed out to you. But anyway, I'll show you this real quick. Let me actually go to the top, and then I think this will be
Okay.
okay. So here's how it works, real quick. But again, you're probably gonna have more questions than answers, but it'll still be very helpful. So first stage, I get on the phone with someone. It's all bonding and rapport. Hey, what part of town are you at, Teresa? Oh my gosh, you're in that part. Like, I went to college in that part. So it's just normal bonding rapport, normal conversations you would have with someone. Then this is the key. You set the intention of the meeting right up front. So you don't bond for 45 minutes. You bond for a short period of time. And so it's like, hey, Teresa, where are you from? So play along with me real quick. I'll go through a microwave version. Teresa, where are you from?
Boulder, Colorado. Boulder,
Oh my gosh,
Colorado.
Colorado. I actually, no joke, this is one of my favorite states. I actually saw a moose. This is so super random story, but I went to one of these hot springs in Colorado, and
Yeah.
literally I saw a moose in person. It was the biggest, coolest thing. Anyway, set the intention of the meeting. The goal of this meeting is I want to find a little bit about your organization, what your goals are, tell you a little bit about what we do. And the only thing we have to decide from this conversation is, does it make sense for us to move forward? If it doesn't make sense, totally fine. If it does make sense, we'll figure out what that is at the end. Does that sound good? The person goes,
Yes.
yeah, that sounds great. It's very easy. It's a commitment. Now I go into the discovery portion. So now that I set the intention of it, I now start by asking questions. I'm not doing a presentation, I'm asking questions. Well, tell me more about your event. What are your goals with the event? Why are you having the event? What problems are you having in the industry? What have you done in the past? What are you trying to solve? So you ask all of the discovery questions to find out what's important to them, what their goals are, and all that stuff. And all I'm doing is writing it down. Now, in an ideal world, I'm trying to find their pain points, ideally. And if I don't have any pain points, they're pleasure points. So a pain point might be, we got 600 people coming to this conference. This is the biggest conference we've ever had. We got to make sure these people want to come back because we're still reeling off of the embers of COVID. I'm looking for a pain, and oh, well, what's the impact of that? What does that mean to you? So ideally, I want to find out, what is my role? Now, some people are like, we just need you to be high energy and fun because you're kicking us off. So that's a pleasure. Totally fine, right? So after I do the discovery, I'm taking notes on everything they're telling me, and then I tell them, here's what I've heard you say. You have this event with these people. You're trying to achieve these goals. These are the things you're trying to avoid. These are the things you're trying to succeed. This is why it's important to you. So I literally just repeat everything that they just said. And then I ask, is that right? Did I miss anything? At this point, they will have two answers and two answers only, which is no, you covered everything. That's amazing. They feel heard, as they should, because we should always take care of our clients. Or they'll say, oh, you know what? We didn't talk about this. And then they'll tell you like a specific thing. And you go, oh, great. You write that down. You repeat back what you heard. Anything else? And then you exhaust that until they say, no, you've covered everything, or we're all good. Then you simply say, what questions do you have for me? If you've done your job correctly at this point, they should have basically no questions or basic questions like, where do you fly from? You know, could you do a workshop in a keynote? Could you tailor our message? They should have basic questions. And then the most singular important question they should ask at this point is budget, which is this one right here. How much does it cost?
Wait, I'm asked, when did I, in the first 4 bullets here, tell them about me? I built rapport.
You don't.
I told them. So you just said though
You don't.
Okay.
So this is the
Okay.
key here. What
Okay.
most people do wrong in sales, in the sales process, is they think that they have to sell them, like I have to sell you on me. Here's why I'm amazing as a presenter. Here's why. By the time they've gotten on the phone with you, they already have an interest in you. So after you find out what their pain points are and you go to the summary of discovery results, you say, well, what questions do you have for me? At that point, they might ask you, could you tell me more about your X or your Y? Or they might have questions, but normally, if someone is getting onto the phone with you, they've already have enough to be interested, and you don't have to worry about selling yourself. And it's a disservice, believe it or not, because they're like, that's not interesting to me. Also, again, this is going a little bit deeper into it, which could open up a can of worms, but it's worth understanding. When you're doing a good sales process, if you actually truly understand people's pain points and problems, they're more likely to believe you understand the solution. The example that was given to me, which I've always loved, is imagine you had a pain in your elbow and you went to 1,000 doctors and no one could figure it out. And then you're talking about that pain in your elbow, and then someone overhears it. You have no idea who they are. You don't know if they're a medical professional or not. And they say, hey, did you say you have a pain in the top of your elbow? And you go, oh, yeah. And it's like, hey, out of curiosity, when you open and close your hand, does that pain shoot just into your middle finger? That's exactly what it does. And then does it sometimes fall asleep? Yes, it does fall asleep. And when you pick something up that's really heavy, do you notice the pain kind of reverses and shoots down the front of your forearm? What's the immediate thing the person's going to say? That's exactly it. How do I fix it? And if that person goes, I had that same problem, I know exactly how to fix it, I will immediately, even though I know you from Adam, will believe that you can solve the problem simply because you truly understand my pain and my problems. That's why the discovery and the summary of results is so important, because our goal is to not prescribe anything. Our goal is to discover and hear them. And then when we repeat back to them, here's what I'm hearing you say. And I give examples and stuff better in the video. That person feels like, oh my gosh, you understand this pain that's radiating in my arm. So I will, by definition, assume if you really understand my pain, you can solve my pain. So that's why it's important to do it this way. If they ask you any questions, answer. But typically, what I found is 90% of the time, when you say any questions you have for me, they'll typically say, well, are you available? How much does it cost? They get into a little bit like, can you do a workshop? Can you do a 2-hour workshop? It's like that kind of logistics. At that point, you present, like, here are the options of working with me. I'm a big fan of presenting 2 options if you can. Like, here's a keynote plus books, here's a keynote plus workshop, here's a keynote plus like add-on service that you might want to do. So you can give people an either or. Would you like this option or this option? Which one do you think is a better fit? Or if you just have one option, you just say, this is what it costs to work with me. At that point, when you say your budget.
Wait. You got into budget. Did you get into budget after they asked, what questions do you have for me? How did you get into budget?
They will almost always ask you how much it costs when you ask what questions do you have for me. You don't have to bring it up.
Oh, okay.
I almost guarantee you every single conversation when you say, hey, what questions do you have for me? They're going to be like, well, can you do this? How much does it cost? They're always going to ask you. If they don't ask you, on the random 0.001% chance they don't ask that question, you simply go, great, any questions you have for me? They go, this, great. Then you say, cool, let's talk about budget. Does that sound good? And then they'll say yes. But I've never asked that question in my life.
Okay. And this, well, finish your process, because then I want to go back with a deeper question.
Yeah, for sure. Decision-making process. So once you say your budget, let's see who knows. Let's see in sales. When you quote your budget, what are you supposed to do next? Who knows?
Keep quiet.
That's right. You shut up. That's the key. So to bring me in to speak, it's all inclusive, or it's like, speaking fee plus travel, and then you say that's what it is. And then you shut up and you wait for them to respond. At that point, they'll say, okay, good, blah blah blah, whatever they say, and then you just play off of what they say. Like, there's lots of different, but most people will either like fall out of their chair and be like, oh my gosh, or they'll be like, cool. Then you want to find out their decision-making process. So now that you know budget, you say, great, based on everything that we talked about here, does it make sense for us to continue this conversation? Remember what we said at the beginning of the call? Like, the only thing we have to decide is, should we continue? So you say, based on everything we talked about here today, does it make sense for us to continue? This is their chance to get an out. If they say, yeah, let's continue the conversation, then you get a commitment in the decision-making process, which is typically this. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is you 100% would never hire me ever, and you hope I get hit by a bus one day. And 10 is if the decision was up to you, and I understand, if they say there's a committee or something like that, I understand the decision is not up to you, but if it was up to you, I'm just curious, based on what we talked about here today, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you laying with me being your speaker? Now, if they say a 5, a 6, or a 7, something went wrong somewhere. There was a mistake, right? And this is where you get to uncover objections. So you go, okay, a 6, great. I'm sure you've got some other options you're thinking out. I'm just curious, what would have to happen to move it from a 6 to like a 7 or an 8 in your case? And this is where they actually will give you objections. Okay, they will literally say, well, it's the price point, or, we're looking at 5 other speakers right now, so I don't want to fully commit. And at that point, you just handle the objections. If it's price point, well, what budget did you have in mind? What were you thinking about? If you're thinking about other speakers, is it that they have the same topic as you? Do they have different topics than you? You kind of just uncover it. If they say 8, 9, or 10, you're in a good place. For any of you out there, and I know you're out there because we get all these emails from people, oh, I just did a talk and I got a 99% value. How do I get the 1% that I need? Like, for all of you out there, some people will never give you a 10. They'll just never give you a 10. They'll only say 9. They'll only say 8. If you get an 8, 9, or 10, you're in the good zone. You're good. Okay. Don't be like, oh my gosh, it's a 9. What do I got to do to make it an 11? Huh? Don't do it. You're fine. You're good. You can move on. Right. So once you go 1 to 10 and they either give you something to do objections with, or they give you a high number, you say, great, then this is the close. This is the only close that you will ever need, ever. Okay. What would you like to do from here? And you shut up. You don't say anything. So now that we've covered everything, we've gone over budget, we've gone over all that, you ask, does it make sense for us to continue? Yes. What would you like to do from here? They will then fill in, well, I got to go meet with the committee and I got to go do this. And then your job, the final step here, which is the clear next step, is to get a clear next step. So, okay, great. You're going to meet with your committee, Tuesday at 3 o'clock. That's wonderful. When would be a good time for us to check in to see how that meeting went? Would Wednesday work, or is Thursday better? Great. Thursday, 2 o'clock. Cool. So why don't we do this? You meet with the group. We'll do a check-in Thursday, 2 o'clock, see what they said. If they have any questions, wonderful. If they don't, great, and we can take it from there. If they're ready to move forward, always let them know what it's called, the link in the chain. You give them the next link. If they're ready to move forward, here's what that process looks like. Now, every process is a little different. What we do is we say, we'll send over agreement, we'll send over a W-9, we'll send over an invoice. Then we'll send over a pre-event questionnaire. We'll grab some questions for you. Once we get those questions answered, we put it into an event packet. That event packet is something that we give to you. We'll do 2 pre-event calls. If we need to do more, we're happy to make sure we can plan it. And then our goal is to create the best successful event we possibly can. Does that sound good? Great. And then you book the date. They do their thing. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I went deep, but also shallow at the same time.
Yeah,
There's a
got
lot
it.
of nuance in that, but that's the framework. And it's so this is just asking questions. It's just asking questions in the right order, in the right sequence, and
Mm-hmm.
then providing. So this never feels pressury to your it never feels pressure. What's the word I'm looking for? You'll never feel scummy or pressury or like you're trying to do the Ben Franklin close. Here's a line down the center. Here's all the reasons you should hire me on the left and all the reasons you shouldn't on the right. Like you're not doing any of those things that are just uncomfortable. You're just
Mm-hmm.
simply asking questions, letting them, and if they go, hey, would you like to move on from here? And they go, honestly, no. Okay, no problem. Would you mind sharing with me why? Oh, it's just, you want 15,000 and you're met and we got 2 grand and there's no way we can make the delta, like, and if you're not willing to come down, they're not willing to come up, it might be a no, and that's okay. And again, going into like sales training, the worst is a maybe. I like
Mm-hmm.
yeses, I like nos. The worst is because, all right, real quick, anyone ever been in voicemail jail with someone where you wasn't sure what's happening and you call them, they don't pick up, it goes to voicemail, you email them, they don't
Yeah.
respond, you call them, it goes to voicemail, and now you're just like in purgatory. Like that's a maybe. A yes is cool. We have a set time, we'll talk. A no is cool. I can spend my energy elsewhere. Because I never want to bother someone. I like being persistent, but I never want
Right.
to bother someone.
Well, that is when, so what do you do with you get into this no response? I've had
Well,
many. Yeah.
number one, if you do this process, you won't get into that. That's the key. The best defense is a good offense, or the best offense is whatever. The point is, you're in voicemail jail because you don't have a clear next step. That's
Well,
why.
I may have a clear next step, like they're going to review the proposal, or get their approval from their boss, but then, they don't make the meeting to talk about it, or they don't do the review, they don't give you, the what they agreed to in the next step. You're in
Well,
limbo.
there's two ways to circumvent that. The first way is the clear next step is not, okay, I'm going to send you a proposal, you review it, let me know. The clear next step is we're going to meet Tuesday at 2 p.m. via Zoom. I'll send you a calendar link to meet. Does that sound good? So that's like a clear next step. Now, if you set that meeting and they don't show up for it, and you say, hey, we were supposed to have a meeting, something must have come up, let's reschedule. Now at that point, to me, it's a clue.
Yeah.
Because if I really want to meet with you, I will meet with you, right? If I don't want to meet with you, I'm gonna subtly like ghost and hope that you leave me alone and like catch the clue, right? So I'm a big proponent of 5 touches before I give up. If anyone's ever heard me talk about, that's my rule of thumb. And when I say 5 touches, I'll send someone an email and say, hey, we missed our thing. I'd love to meet with you again. I'll send another one. I'll send another one. And then the fourth one is like, hey, if I send someone 3 emails and they don't respond, I start feeling like I'm bugging them. And I never want to bug you. So could
Mhm.
you let me know if you're actually interested? Or like if you're no longer interested, it's totally okay. Just let me know. I just don't want to bug you and I don't want to feel like I'm chasing you. Then the fifth email is the breakup email, which is, hey, I haven't heard from you in 4 emails. Um, this last email I'm going to send. If you want to reach out, great. If not, I wish you the best of luck. Now, the only
Mhm.
thing about email that you got to be wary of is if you've never emailed with them, all of your emails could have gone to spam and they received 0 of them.
Mhm.
That's why I'm a big fan of omni-channel touch points, like hit someone up on LinkedIn, text message, phone call, email. Because if I hit someone up on LinkedIn, phone call, voicemail, if I do all that and you don't respond, you ignore me, right? Like an email can go to spam, but like not all of those things. And then at that
Right.
point, the last thing is I can't stress this enough. I don't chase people. If someone
Mhm.
is not interested, that's okay. Like it's like the worst thing to do for anyone's confidence is to chase someone. It's the worst thing to do. But you also can't just send one message and don't follow up because like we're all busy. You're busy, I'm busy. Like look at me. I'm at a client meeting and I'm jumping in a room. Like it's not like I got all this free time in the world, right? Like
Mhm.
you're busy. So if someone like I had 2 phone calls come into my phone just now as we are doing this session, and I ignore them obviously because I'm here.
Mhm.
But if they called me once while I'm on this session with you, and from here I got to do some video filming the moment that we hang up, you know, like we're busy, we're all doing stuff. So I never take it personal, but 5 is like, that's my limit.
Okay, that's excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. This actually, it's a really good question. I think a lot of folks, like, hopefully everyone realizes that wasn't just for Teresa. I hope it was for you, Teresa, but that's for everyone. It's a
Well,
problem.
and what was great is that you showed me and everyone on the screen where to go to find all those other courses. Because I'm a pro member, but I'm not getting my value out of it yet. So that's what I need to know how to use your system better so I can close more business.
That's why we're here. We're here to support. Got your back. Nick, I saw your question in the chat. I'm going to move on to the next questions here. Thank you, Teresa. Nick, I saw your question in the chat. I would just send your slides as is. I would not worry about changing, modifying, or anything like that. I think you and I have a very similar slide design, which is you just kind of like, they're just images, couple of words. I will not change my slides. Like, this is what they are. There's 2 reasons I do that. Number 1, it's how I built them, and it's for a reason. And number 2, IRL couldn't care who has a copy of my slides, because without my speech, my slides would mean nothing to you. So if you want my slides, great. You know, they're not going to make sense without them. If I give too much, then like, you know, yeah. So that's the reason. Kiki, what's going on, Kiki?
Hi, Arel. Great to meet you.
Great to meet you. Is this is our first time connecting, right?
Yeah.
I don't recognize your face. Wonderful. Thank you for being here.
This is our first time connecting. I think I may have been introduced to Talkadot maybe in 2022, I think, through the John Maxwell.
Chris Robinson, Michael Pope, all those great people. Yeah.
So I think that was my first intro, because I've been getting into the speaking thing, but I actually used it the first time for a speech I did on Friday. I recently wrote a book, published, and I've literally had a speaking engagement like every month since. But trying to get the leads, right? This is what you do. So I went back to the platform. I was on the Lite program. I downloaded the slide, used the slide, 56 responses.
Great.
Like, oh my God. So let me just say, this is incredible. One.
Awesome.
But what happened is, so here's where I feel like I messed up and where I need your help. So I hadn't upgraded to Pro yet. So I come back on the back end after the speech, like on Sunday, and I'm like, okay, let me look at all of my feedback. And I'm like, oh, I need to send the emails. And it's like, oh, you need to upgrade. So I upgrade, but I'm past the speech now. So my question to you is, is there a way for me, outside of just copying, maybe pasting the message and just taking emails and sending them like through a blind copy, but inside the system, can you still send those follow-up emails to those qualified leads after a speech has been done? I won't make this mistake moving forward, but
Yeah. So the simple answer is no. So the way our system works is that when the lead follow-up is configured and turned on, leads come in and they get sent. If they're not sent, if they're not turned on, or you don't have the feature because you're a light user in that case, they don't go sent out, and we don't push it either. So your best bet would be to go into your system and go to your booking leads and just email each one of your booking leads. Now, are you familiar with what the flame icon is on the booking lead? Do you know what that means?
You said those are the ones that have an engagement coming up, correct?
They have specific details, right? So what I would encourage you to do is go to all of your booking leads and send them a personalized, like, Kiki, Dr. Barnes to them email, right? And say, hey, Joe, thanks so much for attending my session. You mentioned wanting to talk about X. It's in the opportunity details. So you just kind of copy and paste what they said they want to talk about. Let's set up a time to talk. And by the way, if you didn't get a copy of my bonus, here's a copy of it. So I would do that as individual, because those booking leads are interested in working with you. So you want that individualized care. Our system automates it just so it guarantees you get a touch point and your bonus delivered. but
Okay.
you'll notice that humans love humans still. AI is on its way, but we still love a human-to-human, experience. So I would
Yeah.
do that for all your booking leads and for all your referral leads. And
Okay.
then, do you have a newsletter yet? Do you like send out content regularly yet?
So I'm not, it's not as,
It's not as like regimented as it should. What I would
yeah,
do,
as I want. Right.
I would download everyone
Okay.
who is up. So you go to your talks. Do you know how to download all of your contacts? So you go to talks and then go download. So you
Yes.
download all of those and just upload them into your list. And then the more you upload into your list and don't send emails, the more and more you're going to be like, I should probably be sending emails. There's like 400 people in here that are waiting to hear from me who said they want to hear from
Literally.
me. But if you have them in a spreadsheet or in Talkadot and not in a place in which you can do that,
Yeah.
you feel less internal pressure. So you want to create that pressure, because what
Correct.
I found is putting people on a cadence of hearing from you where you're providing and giving
Yep.
is I just know giving is the best way to get, is the best way to describe it.
Absolutely.
Is give. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on this platform. It is incredible. Like I am like mind blown. Like
Listen, if it takes 3 years for us to get you onto the platform, I'm here for it, Kiki. I'm here for it. Thank you for being here. I'm here for it. Yeah, I appreciate you. If you have any other questions, we have our community. You can post hello@talkadot.com is our email. We're here to support you. Hold your hand. There's a chat feature on our website, humans on there. So any support you need, you're never far away from it.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Welcome. Hey, Dr. Hainsley.
Hello, everyone. And you can just call me Susie.
I can't. You work too hard for me to call you Susie. It's hard. It's hard for me. I was like,
I know, I get that,
Kiki's the
but I
doctor.
just
I'm not
want
here calling her Kiki. It feels uncomfortable.
I don't think it's disrespectful for me for you to call me Susie, because I like to feel like we're friends and we're connected. The only time you have to call me Doctor Arel is when you're introducing me on big stage.
I'm down for that, Susie. What's
All
up?
right, so I'm Susie. Everybody, I'm Susie. But thank you for having such a great platform, and you're so generous with everything you do. Just so grateful. And I'm going to ask you a question that's less about Talkadot and more about speaking. Is that okay?
Of course, that's why we're here.
Yeah, well, so I am in the process of cutting down a 50-minute talk into a 25-minute talk, and the talk is tomorrow. It's a talk that I've done a lot of stuff. I've done a lot, and I'm doing pretty well getting it cut down, but even now, like, it's down from 60 slides to like 25.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you, I mean, for those of you who don't know me, so I'm the founder and CEO of Smart Stress Solutions. So I speak, I do keynotes, and I do workshops to help teams and individuals stress less and achieve their goals. And it's very effective what I do. And I'm speaking for Equitable Financial Solutions. It's going to be virtual. But it is going to be 25 minutes. And I think maybe I'm just following my own stress less strategy, which is to name the fear and the problem, and then I'll feel better by raising my hand. But I just wondered, like, I think it's just like I know what I want to teach, but it is very rich. And I just wondered if you have any suggestions.
Yeah, great. I think all of us as speakers have dealt with this problem in both directions, by the way. Hey, you got an hour keynote. Could you do a 4-hour workshop? And people are like, wait, what now? Or
I
you
have
got
no
an hour
problem with
keynote.
that. It's the other way.
Could you could you do 15 minutes? The hardest talk I think many of us will ever give is the TED Talk, right? You got 6 minutes, you got 7 minutes. Like, it's a really hard thing. And so I understand the pain. I understand it. Like, it's actually very hard. Curious, how much do you think it is now? So you said you started at 60, you're down to 25 slides or so. How many minutes would you say it is now?
I think it's probably let's say 35 minutes.
35
And so I have 30, but I'm really wanting to do 25 because they're going to introduce me, and there's like little and I'm putting in, I am my second to the last slide is my Talkadot slide before I have the BAM call to action thing, and then there's a 15-minute slot for Q&A.
So you have 25 minutes to talk, 15 minutes for Q&A. Is that correct?
Right. Because I'm not going to make it all. I'm not going to push it to 30. I want to push it to 25 because there's going to be some give and take. at the
Yeah,
beginning
no,
when they
that's good.
introduce
Well,
me, and then
that's great, because really that 15 minutes is a slight buffer, basically,
it
right?
is a slight buffer.
Light buffer.
And
So like if
yeah, a
you
little
did like
bit.
3 minutes or 4 minutes over, it's not the
I'm
end of the
probably
world
okay.
in that world. Yeah. So
It's just that but it's just that I want to name but we have to let people leave at the 30-minute mark.
Mhm.
So the CTA is important that I hit it.
Mhm.
You know,
So,
I want to, so
there's a
it's more
couple
like,
of-
I don't think I want to go over as much as I'm going to need to cut something in the middle.
100%, 100%. So the first thing is the this is contrarian to a lot of like philosophical speech writing things, but I'm a big fan that less is more. I actually wrote an article
I
for
agree.
that was called the power of one. That like every speech really should have one idea, and then you've got lots of different examples, stories, things that you break down to emphasize that one idea. And I always said Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream, not I have many dreams. Singular ideas hold in our eyes and our heads more. So my first question to you would be, out of all of the ideas that you're sharing, if your audience could only remember one, and if they remembered this one philosophy, idea, strategy, whatever it might be, it would give them the biggest bang for their buck and stress release. Would you know what that is right now?
Yes, it's just that I am teaching them a 4-step process but the key thing
So
is,
the 4 steps are typically taught in 60 minutes. Is that correct?
yeah, but I was able to like cut down stuff. So like, for example, I might teach several techniques to get back in your body, like so that like you're in the middle of giving a talk, you don't have time to sit there and meditate. Let me tell you the fastest way to reduce that cortisol and get you present. I
Right.
teach, you know what I
So
mean?
you
And
have
then there's,
multiple ways to teach that. So you've cut
so
out.
I picked one. I picked the top one.
That's right. So that's the exact right thing to do, right? And what I would do, by the way, as a side answer to your question, is I would seed that there's more, to say.
And I'm actually seeding it right then and be like, and there's more. And at the end, I'm planting the seed that it's like at the end, I'm going to put up a QR code where I'm going to ask you for feedback, and you're going to get a free video called the 78-second reset that's going to teach you a bunch of these that you can do immediately. So yeah, I am doing that.
That's part. So that's 100% what you should be doing. You're nailing it in that case, right? So
Okay.
now, if I'm hearing you correctly, you've got 4 steps that you need to teach. Is that correct? Now, are the 4 steps, do they build upon each other, or are they, how do the 4 steps work?
Okay, so that's the 4 steps. Thank you to Claude AI. I have an anagram now or whatever. It's called CORE. So when you notice yourself stressed, the first thing is connect with your body.
Yep.
And then I teach you that stuff. I forget what they are called now. Jesus Christ, because I just learned it and I'm changing it.
Building a new mental model. It's all good.
Yeah, own your emotions by taming them, because it's like you have to name them. There's all sorts of science about affect labeling. Number 3 then is gonna be R, reach for support from your pack, because we're talking science and being a mammal. And then the last one is what do you call it? Enjoy your process by celebrating your wins, because it's the whole BJ Fogg. If you don't celebrate your win, you ain't changing anything in your brain.
Well, you know your content better than me. Based on what you just told me, do those build upon each other, or are those individual things a part of the entire system? Like, do I need to know
They
the C to
initially
know
build
the
upon
O?
each other.
Mhm.
And one of the things I say is like, at a certain point, you're going to be able to get your stress down and get back in the game using any one of these. But initially, I'm just showing you these in this order.
Yeah, if again, this is always a personal choice, because whenever I've worked with enough speakers over my career to know how personal our content is and how much.
No, we don't want to kill our darlings.
I would, the way I interpret what you're saying is, I would choose 2 letters or even 1 letter and make my whole presentation around that and say, hey, there's a core strategy. Since we only have 25 minutes, I can't do the full, program to go through all 4.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
What I'm going to teach you is what I think will
The
give you
first
the
2
biggest
letters.
Yeah, the C and the O, right? And I'm going to teach you that. because I believe knowing these and understanding them are really, really valuable. And these alone will be great. If you have the full system, it's like you've got all the tools you need. But I promise you, by the end of our session, you're gonna get some. And I would just teach one or two and not the other two, but let them know they exist. And then the bonus, if you can have the bonus that ties into those, or if what you're doing is doing also fine, is good. But it's, in my experience, it's much better in 25 minutes to teach one or two ideas of a philosophy
Of that, while
than
telling
trying to
them there's
microwave
more.
all four of them, because then you teach all four of them poorly instead of one of or two of them really good. So that would be the best way to do that, because again, ideally, if you're doing a 25-minute talk for Equitable, they're a financial firm, they're very, very, successful, they're all over the place. You want them to want more, right? Like that's the best.
Right, right.
You want them to want more. You don't want them to feel like they got everything they needed. And if you microwave it, you probably, and
I
again,
don't want to
I'm
dilute
not,
it, like you
yeah, I've
said.
not seen you speak, so I'm not saying this is a personal thing. It's like I don't know anyone who could do justice to all four in that time frame where they could probably do justice to one, maybe two really well.
Right, because usually, like, I'm teaching them how to, like, here's how you celebrate. It's like, oh yeah, this is great. I noticed I was stressed out and I did my finger rub. Yay me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I teach them
Yeah.
that stuff. Okay. The other thing is if I had to, I could probably cut down the science, because part of it is I teach them the science because really I am challenging two big ways in which we deal with stress now that don't work because it doesn't work with our operating system, our physiology.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
yeah.
Killing I call it it's not the greatest term. It's like I'm telling y'all like my personal stuff here. It's not the greatest term, but I call it killing your baby.
I know, kill your darlings. That's it.
Yeah,
You
it's
gotta
like
kill your
you love
darlings.
them. You like all of you create it because all of like, but this is good. And this is like I'm a victim of this myself. Like I'm even on these calls, I notice myself going deeper and deeper on stuff, and I'm like, I should pull back, but it's like, no, I want y'all to get it all. So it's hard to kill the darling or kill the
Okay, so let me ask you this. Maybe I like what you had said before, because really the one thing that if I could teach them, it's not even the tools, it's just recognizing that the shit we've been programmed with is actually wrong and counterproductive and making us feel worse. And that comes out when I talk about the science. And that comes out when I talk about suppressing makes it worse for these reasons, and saying mindset is everything. Sorry for all you mindset coach people. It's actually wrong. Mindset isn't everything. If you don't have a regulated nerve, if you are triggered, trying to change how you think doesn't work because your brain is off. It's like putting lipstick on a pig. So I think if I at least say that to them, and then I give them the one tip, that might be really powerful.
I'm a big fan of that, right? Because there's a whole technique that I do every time I do a speech. I tell people about it. It's called the coffee shop strategy. I imagine 6 months. Like I actually think the biggest mistake speakers make is they focus on what they want to say when they speak. I think it's the biggest mistake. What you should focus on is, what do I want my audience to remember? It's a very different dialogue. So I imagine myself going to a coffee shop 6 months after my talk. I run into two people who were in my audience and they're talking about my presentation. And they said, hey, you remember that guy who spoke? The one thing he said that stays with me to this day is, and whatever I'd want to hear them say 6 months from now is the core message that I need to build my whole presentation around and try to hammer that home. So what you just said is that kind of true north, that like where you should be going. And then you might be able to teach a C or maybe an O and say, hey, I'm going to pull out the O and teach it to you from my core methodology, or I'm going to pull out my C and teach you that. So you give them something specific, and that's a very good presentation versus do this, now do this, now think about that, and now hold this in your head, and now do this, and remember this. All right, guys, have a good day. And you're like, wait, what? What? That was too much. It's too much, Simplicity, less is more. So again,
and then I could plant the seed of the fact that I did a workshop at Duke for the project management team. And in the 4 weeks, they dropped stress by 28.8% because I have data by using these things that I teach.
Exactly.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. That was so helpful. I hope other people found that helpful.
Yeah, the process of working through this, I think, is always important. So thank you, Susie, for bringing it up, because I'm a big believer that for everyone on this session, if you're listening correctly, this will help you you will have a moment when this shows up. So having, it's like Batman's utility belt. You can reach into your belt and grab a tool that you can use. So I tend to find that we also learn better by the reason, one of the, not that any of you care, but one of the reasons I love the AMA format so much personally is because sometimes other people ask a question that you did not know how to articulate that can help you solve a problem that you couldn't put words to. So it's very valuable. That's why I encourage people to show up week after week, even if you don't have any questions yourself, because you'll keep your finger on the pulse of the industry. You'll find out what's happening. And just by osmosis, you get better. You get better.
And are these posted then, all of these Ask Me Anything on the website?
Yeah, so if you go to our community, all of the Ask Me Anything. So if you log into your, let me just show you real quick. So if you log into your Talkadot account at any point, you can hit this community button right here. And when you hit the community button, it brings you over to all of the cool things and all the people saying hello and all, hey, I got a question. What's up, Dr. Lockhart? She's here, right? So this is where you can post all your questions. And then on the left-hand side is where you can see all of our resources. You can ask questions. And then if you go to the feed here, yep, if you go to the feed, oh, I got my thing over it. Great. So if you go here, where the hold on. So if you go into AMAs, you can see like, oh, man, I gotta find where. Oh, wait, just moving around. Jeez Louise. Oh, is it the events? Golly, I don't post these myself. All right, here we go. So if you go to events right here, you can see the Ask Me Anythings. And then you can see, like this one's happening and we'll post the recordings here. And if you go back, if you click this button that says past right here. So if you go to events, Ask Me Anything, and then go back to Ask Me Anything and go to past, you'll see all of the past Ask Me Anythings, and then you can click into any of them and then watch the videos. So it's all there for you. So events, Ask Me Anything, and then go past. Cool. Thank y'all for joining me today. This was always a pleasure, always an honor to connect with Talkadot users. For those of you who are here, quick thing that is going to be very valuable for you. On your Talkadot, we released this really cool thing. If you've not done this yet, please, for the sake of your speaking business, or don't, honestly, we want y'all to be successful, but you got to want it as much as we want it for y'all. Click on the upper right-hand corner, go to your public profile. And this is going to be an incredible resource for you. Oh, hold on. Let me log into my account here. Beep. Okay. What you want to do is click on your public profile right here. And this is going to be an incredible resource for you. You're going to be able to add videos, add pictures. We have all of your data right here. You'll be able to get a summary on all 6,290 people who've given me feedback. This is what my summary is. These are the key outcomes. I can add my bio. We automatically pull testimonials for you. You can add your signature talks with your titles. This is going to become kind of a one-stop shop for event organizers and event planners to connect and book with you. So if you don't have your speeches added, we're literally building relationships right now with so many cool industry event planners who are saying to themselves, it's so hard to find good speakers. It's so hard to get all the information we need in one place. So we're working with them to build out. One of the challenges with websites is that websites are designed uniquely to us, which is wonderful, but event planners sometimes are like, we just want to get the information that's available that we need, and it's hard to get it. So this is becoming a tool, a resource. This is open to all of our users, because the more it's easy for event planners to say yes to booking you, the easier it will be for you to book more speaking engagements. Once you create that, you can share that link in your, to share the link, you just go right here to this button, and you can copy the link to this profile. You can put this in your email signature. You can put this in your outbound. You can put this in your Instagram bios. You can put this in your submissions for conferences and workshops. It becomes a resource to you to make your job so much easier and put it all into one simple place. And our job is to constantly update it and make it more and more beautiful and better and more effective for event organizers based on what they're saying. So you don't have to do the work, and you benefit from the collective wisdom of all of us being on this platform together. So it's a really, really exciting tool. So this is huge for event planners. So for all of you out there, if you've not created your profile, please do so. It's going to be really, really cool for you. And if you know a speaker that's not on Talkadot, and they should be, maybe you're sitting around going like, listen, you should be on here. Go to refer and earn right here. You can just now type in their email. A lot of people don't know this. We added this feature. You can type in their email, their name, preview the email, change it however you want to send it. And then you'll be able to track all of the people that you have referred, how many invitations you've sent, how many people have signed up, how many people have upgraded. And for every person who upgrades, they'll get a discount off of the pro, and you'll get $75 for each person. So please share it with them. There's free accounts, so there's no reason for folks to not get the data they need to start becoming evidence-based speakers. One of the biggest industry trends we're seeing right now, and I'm going to be banging on this drum for a while, the industry is changing. All of the writing is on the wall that everyone's becoming more data-driven. And this industry has been very much a gut feeling thing. Like, I should bring someone in. But now decision makers are saying, well, if we're going to spend this money on someone, what data do you have to prove this is effective? What data do you have to back up what you're saying? So being able to have a tool like Talkadot to help you get that, it's really going to make your job so much easier in getting a speaking engagement. This is what we care for. Yeah, so Teresa, we don't have event planners as members of our tool yet. Don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we are starting to build that now. So we're luckily, I've been speaking for 18 years, so I have a lot of event planners that I've worked with. So I'm starting with them, and then what's great is that they're all part of networks, and very, very friendly networks, which is wonderful. So we're going to be doing a lot to bring those folks here to help find folks like you. So it's going to be really, really exciting. So, oh, Mandy finished hers. This is great. I'm so excited for everything that you're doing. Thank you much for being here. Continue to lift as we climb. I'll see y'all later.